Ralph calling in from East Rockaway.
How you doing tonight? Hello.
Good Ralph.
Hey,
Ralph,
hey.
Ralph,
Yes.
You there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you're very low. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think that Mr. Cooper, any bill that can regulate the internet, I applaud that with all hands and feet. I mean, it's a great idea what you're coming up with, and maybe it's a backdoor to start to regulate this internet. But my question is, with this poor death of this girl,
yeah.
I'm sure that they know who was involved by their typing that brought or helped or hurt this person so dearly. So I would assume that these children that are involved will be the first ones on this cyberbullying wall of shame. And I don't see why these children that started this should walk from this, even though the bill wasn't in place.
Yeah.
They still had something to do with this poor girl's psyche.
Ralph, let me address that aspect, because this still has a long way to go. You still got to get it signed.
It was just filed
I know
last
Legislator
night,
Romaine is co-sponsoring it.
What do you have, 5 or 6 co-sponsors?
Yeah,
but look, it's a very complicated issue because there are First Amendment
free speech issues. There's no doubt. There's a lot of people who say that this infringes on First Amendment rights.
Right, but that's why we were very careful in drafting the bill. I actually met this morning with a legal representative from the District Attorney's Office, from the Police Commissioner's Office. I'm reaching out to the County Attorney's Office, because if the perpetrator is under 16, the DA doesn't prosecute. It's actually the county attorney as a juvenile delinquent. But the purpose of the meeting today was, I want your input. I know there's the possibility of a legal challenge. What can you do to help me improve this bill to make it challenge-proof? And one thing that we did was we pretty tightly defined cyberbullying. Number one, it has to be repeated acts over a long period of time, very specific as to what those acts are that trigger possible prosecution. Abusive behavior such as taunting, threatening, insulting, tormenting, humiliating, communicated over the internet. But it has to be repeated acts, not just one or two. It has to be over a period of time.
And it has to be directed at someone under the age of 18?
And it's only for minors. I figured, hey, an adult, I could take care of myself, but a kid under the age of 18, I think that they need special protection.
It's even hurtful to people over 18, but it's easier to take care of the minors in this case, who are the most defenseless.
Exactly.
Let's take a break. Should the most antisocial aspect of social media be outlawed? Cyberbullying. 516-393-1800 is our number. We'll take some more calls when we come back. First, though, here's what some of your neighbors think about criminalizing cyberbullying.
I think freedom is more important right now, and I think on-air freedom is just as equally as important. I think parents should really monitor their kids rather than really monitoring the cyberspace or any other space.
Absolutely.
Why do you say absolutely?
Because it's doing so much damage to all these young people. It's horrible.
Obviously, it should be against the law. It should be on the same level as, harassment or possibly aggravated harassment would be.
Yes, definitely. I mean, there are laws, basic laws in the world, not even on the computer, to protect our children. So I think definitely with computers and all that stuff coming out, definitely, yeah.
Because it hurts people's feelings, and everyone should be treated the same and equally and not be mean.
Newsroom, I'm Ron Corning. Let's head back into the studio now with Lee Tyrell. She's standing by with Long Island Talks. Lee?
Thanks, Ron. It is a disturbingly antisocial side of social media. Cyberbullying. It is awful. It is hurtful. And one Long Island lawmaker believes cyberbullying should also be illegal. What do you think? 516-393-1800 is our number. Long Island Talks starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Long Island Talks, the show that lets you weigh in on the big stories of the day. I'm Lee Tyrell. Bullying is nothing new, but in 2010, bullies don't have to be in your face. They can hide behind computer screens and spread the hate quickly via the internet. One Long Island lawmaker says it's time to stop them. News 12 Long Island's Matt Jablow shows us how.
Alexis Pilkington's suicide last month had a devastating effect on her family and friends in West Islip.
She had a bubbly personality.
and a motivating effect on Suffolk legislator John Cooper.
These kids are drowning in a sea of anguish.
As News 12 has reported, before she took her own life, the 17-year-old Pilkington was the victim of some vicious cyberbullying on a new social networking site. After hearing that, Cooper said he thought it was time to do something about a growing problem.
It's a huge problem.
So yesterday, he filed a bill that would criminalize cyberbullying against anyone under the age of 18.
The most vicious, the most reprehensible cases are the ones that would most likely trigger prosecution by the district attorney's office and arrest by the police.
Cooper's bill calls for up to a year in jail and a $1,000 fine for anyone convicted of cyberbullying a minor in Suffolk County. Long Islanders we talked to said it sounds like a pretty good idea. Do you think it's a big problem?
I think it is the new wave of how mean girls really do get back at the people they hate.
And I think it's becoming very predominant. I think that a lot of the kids are not monitored properly.
We're talking about trying to protect our kids.
Cooper says the bill should not in any way be interpreted as anti-technology. Instead, he calls it a necessary and important tool for law enforcement to help protect children in our increasingly technological world. Matt Jablow, News 12, Long Island.
Now, according to the Anti-Defamation League, New York is one of only 11 states without anti-bullying laws on the books. Lawmakers in Albany are now considering some statewide cyber-bullying legislation, but legislator Cooper says he's not going to wait until then. 516-393-1800 is our number. litalks@news12.com is our email. And joining me here tonight in the studio is the author of the bill, Suffolk legislator John Cooper, and an authority on the subject of bullying prevention, Ronnie Benson of the Long Island Parent Education Network. She has been with us before on this subject. And Ronnie, thank you so much for being here. Legislator Cooper, good to see you. I want to make it clear for the purpose of discussing this because, you know, Alexis's family might also be watching. Her family and also her friends told us that this was not the reason that she took her own life. This certainly, experts say, could not have helped the situation, but her family and her friends told us that it wasn't just because of the cyberbullying, that there were other issues involved that she had been dealing with. But we did talk to other people and experts who said this certainly could not have helped the problem. How did this particular story motivate you?
Her case certainly was the immediate impetus for my drafting the bill, but it goes way beyond that. There was a horrendous case in Massachusetts that's been widely reported, in St. Louis, where it was actually an adult that committed the cyberbullying. Right. So it's been in the news quite a bit lately. And as a parent of 5 kids myself, I can't imagine the pain and the anguish that the family feels when they lose a child, particularly to suicide.
Because there were even nasty messages posted on the website even
after the
Alexis
death.
died.
Outrageous. I mean, kids can be vicious.
No doubt.
But I think that when I imagine or attempt to imagine the final days or the final hours of the life of a child that's been the victim of cyberbullying, and as I mentioned in the story that Matt just reported on, you know, these kids are emotionally drowning in a deluge of anguish and hopelessness and humiliation, and there's no one there to help them very often. And they're embarrassed, they keep it to themselves, they keep it from their family.
Well, they're in pain.
They're in pain.
There's no doubt they're in pain.
And they see suicide as the only answer, the only escape.
Like as you said in the press release that you released on this writing, it makes me feel bad and rather depressed, like I don't want to be a part of this world anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.